Romans believed this water would restore the dead to life.
Most pump water I've investigated works in the opposite direction. So, what was so urgent?
Did I say it was urgent?
Marianne, are you expecting someone else?
Inside this building, you will find the secret of health and happy life.
And a glass of water.
You may have noticed, Wilbur, since I married Marianne, I have been a picture of health.
Very happy for you.
It is almost a scientific fact. Marriage and health are twins, inseparable. Single men wither away and die in rooms that smell of feet and armpits.
Henry, what are you babbling on about?
Love, Wilberforce. Come. Come, we're late.
The water has been here a million years. How can we be late?
So, what shall we discuss next? I don't know. The abolition of the slave trade. How about that?
Marianne, if I'd known you were so starved of political conversation, I'd have wrapped up a Tory and sent him to your home by mail for you to shout at.
Oh, now, look at that. Here we are in the middle of discussing the abolition of the slave trade, and in walks my husband with William Wilberforce himself, the most committed abolitionist in England, and also, of course, the most unmarried.
Oh, look over there. It's Marianne. And who's the charming-looking woman with her?
Marianne's here.
Never mind about her. Look at the woman she's with. Barbara Spooner. Very committed to very many good causes. And also entirely unmarried.
Marianne, you're outrageous!
I do not need you or anyone else to find a wife for me.
I'll never forgive him.
I'll never forgive her. However, Mr. Wilberforce, if we had met in other circumstances, I would have told you how deeply I admire your tireless efforts to force our ridiculous parliament to abolish the slave trade.
Well, if you had, I would have changed the subject and talked about botany.
Botany? Why botany?
Anything but politics. I'm in Bath to be cured of politics.
Well, I would have been bored by botany.
So, even in other circumstances, it would have been a disaster.
Good day to you.
Good day to you.
So, Mr. Wilberforce, I understand you have an interest in botany.
Botany, Miss Spooner? Whatever gives you the idea that I might be interested in something as tedious as botany? Sorry. It's a private joke.
Now, Wilbur, I know you're not interested in botany, but there's a particularly fascinating creeping ivy, or something like that, up the far end of the garden.
Barbara, you really must go and see it too. Go on.
And anyway,
To irritate them, let's pretend to argue.
What about?
Something we disagree on. Think of something.
The war with France.
I think we should settle with Napoleon right now.
So do I. Schools.
I'm a member of your movement for free education. I agreed with every word you said on the Dales factory debate.
You read every word?
No.
Neither did I. Gin.
Replace it in the cities with beer.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm definitely alone in my opinions about the treatment of animals.
No, I joined your society for the prevention of cruelty.
Well, I'm extreme. I have a pet fox, a pet rat, and a crow that can't fly. I used to have a pet hare, but it died of kindness. America.
We must reassess the power of the collective political process.
Agreed.
Oh, and of course, we are agreed on slavery.
I'm against flowers in church. What do you say to that?
I am for them.
As am I.
I shouldn't talk about the slave trade.
I've spent so many years talking about it.
So what are a few more minutes? I remember when Mr. Pitt first became Prime Minister. The two of you were like meteorites shooting through our imagination.
Whose imaginations?
Girls my age.
You were one of those who stopped taking sugar in your tea.
And I wore an abolition badge made by Josiah Wedgwood.
He was a good friend to us.
And I travelled 30 miles in the rain to hear Thomas Clarkson speak.
Did he deafen you?
He opened my eyes. I met the African.
Equiano.
He came to town with 100 copies of his book. They sold in an hour.
You signed our petitions.
100 times.
100 times. 3 million names, 1 million candles to read them by.
Must have been so exciting.
Exciting.
It seemed that every spring the daffodils came out. Every summer the cherries ripened. And every autumn William Wilberforce would present his bill to the House.
And still.
And still?
And still, after all the badges, the petitions, all the speeches and the bills, ships full of human souls in chains sail around the world as cargo!
I'm sorry. This is why I really shouldn't talk about it.
I think you should.
There. We found something we disagree on.
Am I not a man whose soul is drawn to heaven like water from the dark well of Africa?
From Equiano's book.
He was a man like no other.
Please, tell me about it. It seems to me that if there is a bad taste in your mouth, you spit it out. You don't constantly swallow it back.